welcome to Autocar Professional. We are in conversation with Joerg Mommertz, the Chairman and Managing Director of MAN Trucks India. Joerg, thanks for talking to Autocar Professional.
Thanks for coming.
And MAN has been in India for quite some time, but you have kept a very low profile. I mean, especially with the media, you haven't spoken much. As we understand it, you are positioning yourself at the premium end of the mid segment, right?
Yes.
Could you briefly tell us what is the current market share, and over the next, say, if you look at a very short-term horizon of 2020, where do you see it going? What is your plan?
Let's say I don't want to talk about our market share today because the market share depends on the addressable market. I see a strong growth in our addressable market segment, meaning we call it premium budget segment because of the change in the business environment, long-haul transport, GST, all of these things having influence of our customers' business. Customers are getting more demanding, customers are getting more total cost of ownership oriented, and here we see potential for us to contribute to the market and to gain volume and market share.
And talking about volume, the current conditions, you also mentioned about your vision of contributing 1/10 of the global volume of MAN.
Exactly.
In a span of say 3 to 4 years or so.
Yes.
So how do you plan to achieve that target?
First of all, by a stronger footprint on the Indian market. We want to sell much more in India, but 50% we get from the export to other, let's say, emerging markets like Africa, Asia, Central Asia, Middle East.
Right.
Yeah? But with a very strong focus on the Indian market because this truck is made in India, made for India.
Right. And currently, if I'm not wrong, your capacity in the plant is about 9,000 a year?
9 to 10,000 units a year, yes.
And you are operating at about 35% of capacity?
On 35% of the time.
Okay. And also, do you see India, apart from being a manufacturing hub, also growing as an engineering hub, not necessarily globally, but at least for the Asia-Pac region for MAN Trucks? Is that a possibility?
Yes. We have already today the complete engineering for our current product portfolio here in India and for the export as well. Of course, in a further step in the future, we want to deliver from here also engineering service to our headquarters, to the European production facilities. This is a part of our, let's say, worldwide strategy in MAN.
And you also mentioned that you are looking at you want to be present in all segments.
In all business segments above 16.
Above 16. So if you are looking at that, how many more segments are you going to enter in the next 2 to 3 years? Maybe?
Yeah, how many segments is difficult to say. You know, the segments are quite detailed, but of course we have a strong focus on the truck tractor rigid business, heavy duty mining as well. Yeah, these are the segments where we see the biggest potential in the future for us.
Okay, and also the MAN, at least in the initial till a couple of years ago, the performance has not been up to the expectations.
Yes.
What were the hurdles, and have you addressed all the hurdles for growth, and now are you poised for growth?
Let's say, I don't want to talk too much about the history because we started in a joint venture and I don't want to judge the joint venture, but there were some hurdles, yes. We have a new business focus also inside the Volkswagen Group and MAN Group with a strong focus on India and the emerging markets, and we are quite sure that we have let's say, all instruments and tools and products to be more successful in the future.
Okay, and as you see the Indian market, which the commercial vehicle market is still witnessing the discounting game. Mm-hmm. How do you tackle that? Are you forced to offer discounts, and how do you address this issue?
Let's say selling by discount is not a science, and this is not our way to do business. We want to offer the customer, the right price for the right product, and you can't do that by discounting. Yeah? The customer has to see the value. We want to offer value for money, and that by performance of our truck. So we have to convince the customer by the performance of our product, not by the lowest price and discounting from an artificial proto-list price. This is not the right way of doing business.
Apart from MAN, there is one more OEM which is trying to really break into the stronghold of two Indian OEMs.
Yep.
how big a challenge is it to break through, the kind of break the stronghold of these two OEMs?
I will not judge competitors, and everybody has his own strategy and is doing that in a good way. Of course, it's a challenge to enter the segments and the business of two strong and dominant domestic players, but we got experience with that. I started up the business in Sweden, and at this time the two dominant local players were Volvo and Scania in a much smaller market. So, but in India, we are able to do that, and we don't want to compete by price. We want to compete by performance of our product, cost of ownership, product performance, fuel economy, value for money for the customer. But what we don't definitively do is to compete by price.
Okay, and also in terms of, in terms of your background of starting off as a mechanic, that is also helping you in terms of offering or working out better, enhancing the better TCO?
Of course it helps. Maybe not in TCO. I believe I have the better people on board doing that in India, and we have a well-skilled team here on board, no doubt about it. But it helps me to understand, let's say, the need for help of our dealer network, because the conditions are different, not comparable to a high-developed European market. So it helps to understand the local demand, the local need of the customer, of our business partners, of our dealers, and to understand what kind of support and help we have to offer to them. And it helps, yes.
And I have to ask you this question. You also are a boxer. Anything that you bring from the game of boxing that you think can practice? You can practice in the business environment as well.
Of course, competition, but also business ethics and fairness.
Right.
So because this is our basics, even in boxing as well. But competition, yes. Competition, sport is competition, and business is competition as well. It helps.
And while talking to a boxer, I should also be careful not to become too close.
No problem.
Maybe we'll have a bout sometime.
I have a longer reach.
Great. But tell me, how's your stint in India been so far? This is the first time you're in.
I have to say, I like the slogan of the Indian government, "Incredible India." So it's an amazing country, very promising country. Of course, a lot of things are different to Europe, but tempting, challenging sometimes, always interesting, a lot to learn. Also for you, definitively for Europeans, you have to get adjusted to the local conditions. But I'm personally feeling very well.
All right,
India.
On that note, thank you very much, and all the very best.
Thank you. The same to you.
Pleasure talking to you. And thank you for watching this episode of the Autocar Professional Dialogue. Goodbye.